Good morning. So a few weeks ago, I went to the anti-Trump protest in San Diego, and it ended up being quite a chore because, although it was a great time and well worth it, I had to pay for parking, had to pay for a train from where I parked to where I wanted to go demonstrate, and there were a lot of other incidental expenses and so forth. And so it was a bit of a hassle, so I thought I'd give myself a bit of a break by going to Carlsbad, which is just about as conservative a place as you can get in San Diego, which of course is California's most conservative counties. But what I forgot was, as bad as in downtown San Diego, it can be just as challenging in a place like Carlsbad, which is largely residential. And I find myself now in a parade of people in the same boat who had to park all throughout all the little residential streets and are gradually funneling our way down toward the Pacific Coast Highway, and where I understand will be the center of today's demonstrations here. But we're already quite a number of people that are just, relative latecomers and far parkers, like your correspondent. But I said I would go live at 10, so I'm going to give you live from 10, and you can see exactly what I'm doing, exactly what's up. As always, if I cover a live event, it's going to be just the unvarnished experience that I have. I wanted to keep my hands free, so I don't have any special sign except for the one on my hat and one on my back that I can't show on here, except at the risk of more censorship and more prior restraint brought to us by the media companies, onto which we have moved the public square quite foolishly. Back when the internet was just getting started, a lot of you may know that Congress passed a thing they call colloquially Section 230 that exempted the internet companies from the First Amendment. Essentially, in other words, it gave them complete immunity from liability for their decisions made as publishers. And some courts have interpreted that to mean they're immune from their censorship and prior restraint decisions also. Enough courts that, in fact, challenges are effectively over because Section 230 is so powerfully on the side of the internet platform providers that you can end up having to pay their attorney fees if you sue them for their depredations on your liberty. It's a miserable state of affairs. What it has meant is that we have moved the public square effectively onto private fiefdoms owned by people like Zuckerberg, Rupert Murdoch, and the rest of them. And they can censor us at will. So that's why I can't show you the sign that's on my back. But you can get an idea of the number of people that are like me, just actually headed toward the protest.
Shop. Oh, so down, okay, so
Yeah, down the way.
So yeah, I can't even walk as fast as I can because the crowd is building, people are gathering. People like me who parked a little later are on our way down to the demonstration. We are definitely going to have a great time sticking up for America and repudiating kings and dictators in our country. I cannot promise you any excitement because, like I say, I'm in one of the most conservative towns in the most conservative county in California. And even the protesters here tend to be rather conservative people. And I don't mean that in a bad way, but I mean that in the instinctively law-abiding way. After all, the reason we're protesting an elected felon in the White House is because we're a law-abiding people. And I think we're going to be hard-pressed to find any Trump or terrorists giving us any problems. Dayanara, thank you for coming by.
They're trying to get to the
Yeah, I don't get your point, Mark Point. Long before we had our republic on the continent of North America, a philosopher, emperor of Rome, named Marcus Aurelius, exhorted people to apply the proper label to a thing before one started to try to create logical syllogisms from it, because if you start off with an incorrect identification of what it is you are dealing with, you are only going to arrive at a false conclusion that inevitably comes from that false premise. And if you don't start out with a basic understanding that Trump is a wannabe dictator, he is a convicted felon, he is a moron, he is an incompetent, he is a man baby who does not have a normal life, you are going to reason to a false conclusion. You're going to, if you somehow conflate him with the idea of being a president, you are going to eventually reason your way to a ridiculous, absurd conclusion in which a convicted felon is actually wielding the power of law enforcement in your republic. And of course, this is the problem we have now. People have lost sight of the most basic facts about this bizarre individual. He hasn't had a normal life. He's never held a job. He's never learned to drive a car. He's never loved or been in love. He's only ever paid for his relationships. He's a completely transactional, soulless individual. He is a moron who talks like a third grader. Some idiot told him he was rich when he was in third grade, and so he never even bothered to learn his fourth grade vocabulary words. The teacher surely said, as they did back in our day, take out a piece of paper, write down these words, get out your dictionary, and you need to be able to use these words. You need to be able to use them, be able to write them down and know what they mean, because that's going to be on the... And of course, young Trump said, no, teacher, I don't think that's what we're going to do. We're not going to be doing that. I'll have people for that. And of course, they let him get away with it. And he became an incorrigible child who they eventually sent to a reform school, and it didn't take. He came out saying, I know more than the generals. I got more training than the real army guys. And so don't waste your money on reform school. Exert appropriate parental control on your child. And for heaven's sakes, do not explain to him that he's rich before he's too old to handle it, or he's never going to listen to anyone for the rest of his life, including his fourth grade teacher. The Trump clown show will soon be over. Your kids and your grandkids are going to want to see the receipts, the kids call it now. They're going to want to see proof that you stood up for America against that illiterate clown. So you are running out of time to make your own videos in opposition to this moron. You are running out of time to join the people protesting him and who are going to bring him and his stupid clown show down. So you need to get out today. The safest place, the best place you could possibly be as an actual American is on the streets today protesting that clown. The crowd of true Americans is growing. I'm getting more and more toward the center of today's demonstration in this very conservative town in one of the most conservative counties in California. I'm going to flip my camera around so you can see the the back of the parade, at which I am. See, it's starting to grow. That's all right. What's wrong with that? Fellow was pointing out that he thought I might be the only guy with a cowboy hat. I don't know what his point is.
I know every day's a Saturday. We've got Friday. When Friday comes around, it's special. Isn't it? Oh, is it?
It's like you don't know what day it is.
Yeah, yes, it's a
Name calling and judgmental is that American. As I said, you're going to have to read a little Marcus Aurelius if you can read, or have a literate friend read it to you. You need to consider the nature of the thing. You need to understand what it is you're dealing with, or you're going to reason to a false conclusion. He's not a he's a clown. These people are not supporters. They are accessories to felony. He is a convicted felon, and we allowed the dumbest 22.5% of the American population to put him in the White House and place him in command of our military. It's ridiculous. And it all came from failing to follow Marcus Aurelius, the thing itself, and identify what it is you're talking about. He is a corpulent, moronic, illiterate, filthy, convicted felon. He is a traitor against the United States. He's a Russian asset. He is destroying this country. He is a turd. All right, he's a gigantic 6-foot-tall turd in high heel shoes, girdle, makeup, a wig. And if he's your idea of manliness, there is literally something wrong with you. You need to go to a psychiatrist. You need a whole team of psychiatrists studying you, because he's a joke. And if you don't start out with that, if you don't understand that basic premise, you are inevitably going to reason to a full conclusion. Overwhelmingly vote for him. The dumbest 22 population voted for him. And unfortunately, some very lazy or very busy people allowed it to happen. Well, we're not going to allow it to happen anymore. We're going to restore law and order. We're going to restore reason, sanity to our republic, and we're going to take it back. We're not going to allow the instrumentality of our government to be used against our people. We're not going to allow filthy assassins to invade the homes of sitting Congress and simply eliminate them as if this were the third world. We're not going to allow filthy thugs who will go to prison to put their hands on United States senators elected by the people of California. The Trumper scum have had no more respect for our elected representatives than George III had, in fact, far less. Tell me when King George III ever sent people disguised as cops to the homes of our founding fathers and unalived them in the dead of night. You say what you want about George III and the Redcoats, but they were not the filthy cowards that every filthy scumbag Trumper is. That's a fact. Yeah, Mark Point, you are nothing to see here. You're just a repetitive loser sitting in your trailer park, typing the same thing over and over again. You don't run anything. You're not in on it. You're not going to be the Deputy Reichsfuhrer of Western Tennessee. You're just a kid who, like the fat blob he worships, never studied in school, never paid attention, never learned his vocabulary words, never learned English. In short, you are unassimilated. You're unassimilated to American values. You never learned to speak English. And you are a filthy traitor against the United States, you and every Trump worshiper. Trump is an antichrist. He is a moron. He is an illiterate. We don't have kings in America. Real Americans are not going to stand for kings. Once again, the numbers are huge. I didn't even come to San Diego's today. I'm in Carlsbad, a small bedroom community, and the crowd is huge. There are people here who've never been to a demonstration before in their lives, but you have to be here today because this is where everybody who loves his country has got to be. Real American patriots are protesting this clown show. Real American patriots can't stand Trump or his filthy Trumpers.
What is happening right now to human beings is wrong, my love. And if you can't grasp that,
We are huge. We far outnumber them.
Wake up! Wake up! Wake up!
lots of thunder.
Wake up! Wake up!
There'll be no kings in America. Here's one for you, Ice. Get him. Get him, Ice.
Citizen, dude.
Get him, Ice. You think they care about your citizenship? They don't care about your citizenship.
Really?
Yeah, you think this is going to make you white by supporting a felon?
Okay. That's really interesting. Okay. So interesting. I know. I live right across the street.
Trump is a clown. Trump is a moron. He's a spoiled child. The fourth grade absolutely is not even see with good. And that's exactly why we're in the situation we're in now. It is a clown show of morons.
Hey, Gino! Gino the Cheeto! Gino the Cheeto!
Veto the Cheeto. Trump is a scumbag. Trumpers are accessories to felony. He's nothing but a convicted felon blow who never learned anything in his life. He never learned how to drive a car. He never served his country. He dodged the draft 5 times. That's exactly it. Same shit, different hat. Exactly what's going on. Trump is a scumbag. In America, do your job, Congress. Remove this clown now. The crowd is absolutely huge. I can't even give you a sense of the scale of it. They simply made the iPhone too small.
Yeah, they did.
It's like trying to take a picture of the moon. It's huge. It goes on all along the coast of California. We are not going to put up with a purported king in America, especially blowhard moron king who can't think like an adult. Look at this. It's huge. We outnumber them at least 4-1. Trumpers are nothing but the lowest 22.5% on the IQ spectrum. A lot of us were lazy. We allowed them to take over, but we're not going to be lazy anymore. We're never going to make this mistake again. We're not going to allow our country to be taken by a bunch of low IQ clowns. I'm sorry to interrupt the live stream a little bit here. I'm going to have to go over and do a little bit for the folks on TikTok. But I will be back.